Most people feel anxious if a meal is 2 hours late. Their mood drops, concentration fades, and the only thought left is food. So what would happen if you stretched that window not to 2 hours, but to 7 full days? No meals, no snacks, no calories of any kind, just water and whatever your body can manufacture on its own. Before you assume it ends in collapse, the science tells a completely different story. What your body does during a week without food is one of the most remarkable survival performances in all of human biology, and it begins the moment your last meal is digested. Within the first few hours, your body is still running on fuel from that last meal. Blood sugar is stable, energy is available, and nothing feels unusual. But quietly, behind the scenes, your liver is counting down its glucose reserves. Those reserves, stored as glycogen, typically last between 12 and 24 hours depending on your activity level and body composition. The moment they run out, your biology is forced to make a choice: shut down or adapt. It chose adaptation millions of years ago, and what unfolds next is why you're still here. Hour 24, your body crosses a line. Approaching the first full day without food, things start to feel real. Hunger sharpens. You may feel irritable, hollow, or slightly lightheaded. Your body is sending out its first serious distress signals, and those signals come in the form of hormones. Cortisol rises slightly, insulin drops sharply, and your fat cells begin receiving a very clear message: it's time to open up. Fat that has been sitting in storage begins breaking down into free fatty acids, released into the bloodstream as available fuel. At the same time, your brain responds to the drop in blood sugar by increasing production of norepinephrine, the neurochemical behind alertness, focus, and mental sharpness. This is why a surprising number of people report feeling unusually clear-headed during the first day of fasting, rather than foggy or dull. Your digestive system, no longer receiving food, begins to power down. Enzyme production slows. Gut activity quiets. Resources that would have gone toward processing meals are quietly being redirected. By the end of day one, your body has officially entered a biological state that most people living in the modern world almost never reach, and it's only just getting started. Day 2 to 3, the fuel switch that changes everything. Here's where most people expect hunger to peak and instead find something unexpected. It softens. The desperate, urgent craving that defined hour 18 begins to settle into something quieter and more manageable. The reason is a molecule called a ketone body, produced by your liver as it converts stored fat into an alternative fuel source. Ketones are extraordinary. Unlike glucose, which causes energy to spike and crash, ketones provide a slow, steady, clean-burning fuel, and they can cross directly into the brain, feeding neurons without needing insulin as a gateway. Your brain, now running primarily on ketones, behaves differently. People consistently describe a calm mental clarity at this stage: less noise, sharper focus, a sense of stillness that feels almost meditative. This isn't a coincidence of personality or willpower, it's ancient biology. For most of human history, the ability to think clearly while hungry wasn't optional. It was the difference between finding food and not surviving. Your brain, in fasting mode, is returning to its most primal and efficient operating state. And then, around the 48-hour mark, something begins happening inside your cells that no diet, supplement, or detox protocol can replicate. Your cells begin cleaning house. When your body has gone long enough without incoming nutrients, something extraordinary gets switched on at the cellular level. Cells begin identifying their own damaged components, misfolded proteins, worn-out structures, dysfunctional internal machinery, and systematically breaking them down. The raw material gets recycled into usable energy and building blocks for new, healthy structures. This process has been linked in research to reduced risk of neurodegenerative diseases, lower cancer cell activity, improved metabolic function, and measurable markers of slower biological aging. It is not a fringe idea. It is one of the most studied areas of cellular biology in the world, and the research connecting it to fasting is substantial and growing.
Your body, in the absence of food, is not deteriorating. It is conducting its most sophisticated internal maintenance. Every hour spent in this state is an hour your cells are cleaning, repairing, and renewing themselves from the inside out.
Day 4 to 5. The energy nobody expected. By day 4, something that makes no intuitive sense starts happening. Energy returns. Not the jittery, caffeinated kind, but a steady, quiet alertness that seems to come from nowhere. Fat oxidation is running at full capacity. Your mitochondria, the energy-producing structures inside every cell, have become measurably more efficient at extracting power from fat. The metabolic chaos of the first 2 days has resolved into something surprisingly stable. Your brain is also changing in ways that researchers find genuinely remarkable. A protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF, increases during extended fasting. BDNF supports the formation of new neural connections, sharpens memory consolidation, and protects existing neurons from oxidative damage. The fasting brain is not a depleted brain. In several measurable ways, it is a more active and better protected one. Many people at this stage describe a sense of mental flow. Tasks feel cleaner, distractions fall away, and thinking becomes unusually direct. Ancient cultures who practiced ritual fasting for spiritual clarity weren't imagining things. The neurochemistry behind that state is real. But this is also the stage where a hidden danger quietly grows. Electrolytes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium are being depleted. These minerals govern the electrical stability of your heart and nervous system. Without deliberate replenishment, the same fast that is sharpening your mind can begin destabilizing your heartbeat. This is not optional maintenance. Beyond 72 hours, medical supervision isn't just advisable, it's the line between a transformative experience and a dangerous one. Day 7. The summit and the trap waiting at the bottom. By the final day, the body has reached a state that very few people in the modern world ever experience. Fat burning is at its peak efficiency. Markers of systemic inflammation are measurably lower. Cellular repair processes are still running. Immune cell regeneration has increased. Research suggests that extended fasting can trigger the clearance of aged, less effective immune cells and stimulate the production of new ones, essentially giving the immune system a partial reset. Many people describe Day 7 not primarily as a physical milestone, but as an emotional and psychological one. The mental noise of daily life, the constant pull of cravings, habits, and consumption has gone quiet. What remains is a clarity and stillness that most people have never encountered before. It is one of the reasons fasting has appeared across virtually every major spiritual tradition in human history. The experience is consistent enough across cultures and centuries that it cannot be dismissed as placebo. But here is the sharpest warning in this entire journey, and it comes right at the moment of apparent victory. The most dangerous moment is when you finally eat. After 7 days, your digestive system has been offline. Enzyme production is minimal. Your gut lining is in a sensitive, reconfigured state. The microbiome, the trillions of bacteria that govern digestion, immunity, and even mood, has shifted into a dormant mode. The moment food re-enters this environment, your body responds aggressively. Insulin surges, electrolytes rush into cells simultaneously. If the reintroduction is too fast, if the first meal after 7 days is a normal-sized one, the resulting electrolyte shift can trigger heart arrhythmias, neurological disruption, and in documented cases, organ failure. This is called refeeding syndrome, and it is real, it is serious, and it has been fatal. Breaking a fast of this length correctly means starting with small amounts of diluted, easily digestible food, broths, soft fruits, gradual reintroduction over 2 to 3 days. The exit from a long fast demands the same discipline and awareness as the fast itself, arguably more. What the body was trying to tell you all along. People who complete a week-long fast rarely describe it in terms of weight lost or toxins cleared.
They describe a shift in relationship with food, with discomfort, with their own mind. Hunger, which once felt like an emergency, revealed itself as manageable. The body, which seemed to require constant feeding, turned out to carry reserves and intelligence far beyond what daily life ever demands of it. 7 days without food does not weaken you. Approached correctly, with preparation, awareness, and proper support, it shows you exactly how much strength was already there, quietly waiting for the moment you stopped drowning it in noise.